of work is a book. I'm not talking about writing or printing. I am talking about the codex we may leaf through that may be put away on a shelf for whole centuries and will remain there unchanged and handy. We are so accustomed to crediting books with personality, you will forgive my excursion into the pathetic fallacy when I speak of books as lying to hand with the obedience and humility of all harmless and useful beings. Of course, in a large library or bookshop, we may say hundreds of yards of books and mutter, good God, why would we ever want to add to that lot? But this is the reaction of surfeit. The book, the stack of conveniently arranged pages, is an invention in its physical nature as near as anything can be to remaining beyond criticism. We have them so often before our eyes that we tend to forget the ingenuity concealed in their apparent simplicity. Our world is voracious and still becoming more so. Sooner or later, unless we exercise a care and forethought which is seldom evident in the mass of human beings, we shall be left with little more than a village or small town economy. It is worth noting, therefore, that the making of books can be a cottage industry. If the need is there, anyone could learn that careful swish and swirl of tray and the flick of the wrist that distributes the pulp evenly over the mesh and gives us handmade paper. Flax, leather, cotton, silk, the heart warms at the thought of them in our era of alloys and plastics. I say this because I sometimes hear from people who have a couple of thousand television. I say this because I sometimes hear people say that the age of the book is past. And I suppose these statements come from people who have a couple thousand television sets sitting on their shelves. But it will be a very advanced village industry that can manufacture a television set. Tapes, cassettes, records, radios, TVs are with us, certainly, but he would be a wise man who could predict how long we shall be able to afford them. Nor have these objects beauty in themselves. I think of a book that I once bought for just a few pence. Secondhand, it is the Odyssey, published in 1800. It is printed on handmade paper and in the most exquisite Greek font of the early 18th century. I do not collect books for their rarity or beauty, but I come across such books sometimes. That one is a delight not just to the eye and to the intellect, but to the hands. With its leather binding, still supple after more than 170 years. A luckier friend bought for only a few pounds a book within a few years of being 500 years old. I held it in my hands, opened it, and the immense words were still there, still clearly to be read on the near white page. Would that the ship Argo had never sailed. As long as we value the simple and the durable, the unobtrusively convenient, we shall make books available to us. For they will hold in perpetuity something as dull as a date or as proud as a poem. There lies perhaps some tedious record, or there will blaze out at us some passionate expression of the human spirit, not dulled or obscured by time, but clear as it ever was. As long as we are physical human beings with an inclination towards the acceptance of physical convenience, and with a pleasure in touch and sight, there will be physical